Honourable Damien O'Connor.
Mr. Chairman, I stand up unashamedly as the biosecurity spokesman for Labor, and while we have indicated our support for the bill, can I say I raise some serious questions, and the National Party will laugh about it because they're the party who have slashed biosecurity funding. If this is a smart gate, Mr. Chairman, then I'd take us back 100 years to when farmers invented the Taranaki gate. I'm sure they considered it smart as well. But now we need not a Taranaki gate, we need a safe door. That is, not one that's locked permanently, but one that is opened when people meet the requirements and know the code. And what is happening here today, every day in this country, is that we have a Taranaki gate for biosecurity when we need a safe door. At no time in this country's history has biosecurity and the threat of an incursion been greater. We have more people and more goods coming over our border every day than ever before. And this government thinks a smart gate is a Taranaki gate. Well, Mr. Chairman, I have to say that this bill, as has been specified by the Minister and others, attempts to do information sharing. Great idea. Can't argue with that. The issue is what is happening in frontline biosecurity as both agencies, Customs and Biosecurity, have been moving in this direction. Because this project's been around for a wee while, and I'll have colleagues who might talk about that. What has been happening, Mr. Speaker, take, for example, Auckland International Airport or Auckland biosecurity staff. Quote, government has not hired any frontline staff for at least 3 years at Auckland Airport. It goes by many names: sinking, sealing, cost-cutting, attrition. People have been pregnant, they've left, they've retired, they've been on OE. Not one of them has been replaced at Auckland Airport. Is that a smart gate? No way. No way. And I feel very reluctant to offer support for this bill when the national government has taken resources from frontline biosecurity people and placed it into one of Mr. Williamson's little technology projects. Well, we can make progress through information sharing, there is no doubt about that. But when we have claims that if you have an Australian or New Zealand passport, you can virtually import anything into this country without challenge. Can I say that there have been, and you see them occasionally if you're travelling the borders, dogs. And in fact, this bill says it is illegal to harm a customs dog or biosecurity dog. Great move. How many of them are there? How much work are they doing? How much protection are they offering us? Well, I put to you, from first-hand information that I have received, that the dogs cover about 1 hour a day of a 24-hour operation. 1 hour per day. There are some more dogs being trained, that is true. But what happens is that they take the dogs from the airport to the port or to the mail room, and they shift them around. And Mr. Williamson's smiling because all the reports he gets from all his managers say, it's all fine, Minister, it's all okay, we're covering it all off. When frontline biosecurity staff are alarmed, they are stressed, and those people who are truly committed to border protection see people walking through, in fact, having their passports stamped to walk straight through without any checks at our airports. Now, Mr. Williamson's aware of this because he's been given this information. I don't know what he is doing about this.
Nothing.
He's proceeding with the bill.
Nothing.
Because he thinks that sharing information on computers And to be fair to him, he's been consistent advocate for computers. Mr Chairman,
Honourable Damien O'Connor.
He's been a consistent advocate for technology. I acknowledge that. I'm slowly catching up myself. That is no replacement for the frontline protection that we need in this country every single day. Mr Chairman, there's a view of biosecurity staff that the next minister in charge of biosecurity will soon be responding to the next incursion. Imminent and inevitable. That is what they think, because they are unable to carry out the duties that they know are necessary at frontline borders, be it at the port or be it at the airports. It is a wide, we're covering the whole thing, Mr. Chairman.
Let me just respond, because I'm on my feet. I made the comment earlier, just because we're having a debate on all clauses, schedules of the bill, doesn't mean we talk about anything that's broadly under biosecurity. It should still pertain to the bill, and this is an information sharing bill. So ask the member to just contain himself. Yeah, no, I'll just...
refer you to Clause 7, regulations relating to entry of goods for export. Mr Speaker, I would have thought that regulations, that a regulation-making power in that area, which gives specifications in that area, would be about as broad as one could get as to the possibility of making regulations in this particular area, and I would have thought that under that clause just about anything would go.
Exactly to what that clause actually requires. It doesn't allow any kind of debate on biosecurity. It must pertain, if the member is using that, to Clause 7. Damien O'Connor.
I apologise, and I regret the fact that I appear to be arguing with you, sir. That clause is an amendable clause. That is a clause which is headed regulations relating to entry of goods for export. The member could propose anything to do with goods related coming in for the purpose of exporting them, if he so chose. It is about as broad as you can get. It doesn't, just in a committee phase, it doesn't have to be the exact words here, sir. It can be any addition to that header which comes within the scope. And my argument, sir, is that anything would come out of that scope.
Yeah, it's about the amendment to the clause, and I've made that point. Honourable Damien O'Connor.
Thank you to my colleague. I think he's right. I will stick to the bill, Mr. Chairman, as always. Mr. Chairman, the sharing of information about every aspect of biosecurity and customs is no doubt the objective of the Minister, and that's why I do make comment on this. Can I go to the issue of fines? Minimum fines are increased from $50 to $200 in the customs area. They have already been increased in the biosecurity area, Mr. Chairman. And I think it's important because there's uncertainty as to what this might do. Will it improve the situation or not? The first-hand evidence from what is happening in biosecurity now is that, firstly, passengers aren't made aware of their rights. They simply get slapped with, for biosecurity purposes, a $400 option, a $400 fine, and told that that's it, pay it or nothing. And of course they are not informed of their four options. The problem being is that resources taken for the Joint Border Management System have been taken away from training for frontline biosecurity officers who have to impose these fines. That is what's going on here now. I have first-hand information regarding that. The Minister has first-hand information regarding that, and I hope that he will take a call and hopefully deny that that is occurring. But I'd suggest that he probably is not in a situation. One other point that I think pertains to this legislation, and the fact that Biosecurity have moved to implement a new computer system. It's called MathPax, I believe. It was imposed on staff who have effectively rejected the use of it because it takes too long and it is too complicated to record the data. Now, if this is the data that is going to be shared, but frontline officers don't have the training or don't have the time to put it in the system, then what progress are we making? And in fact, are we just kidding ourselves here? Will the Minister, Mr Williamson, be able to say we've got the most sophisticated information sharing system in the world, and the Minister of Biosecurity saying we need to gather $100 million to take on an incursion because we've had something slip through the border? Because that is the likely outcome of the current government's approach to biosecurity. We need an independent review of what has occurred in biosecurity over the last 3 years as we've moved towards the joint border management system. And I hope the Minister will get up and give us assurance, because if he won't, then I have real trouble supporting this bill and the so-called progress that we're making on border protection for this country. The Minister cannot deny claims and information given to him firsthand in the hope that it will go away and that officials will give him reassurance that all is hunky-dory. When it is not, and I have spoken to people from Christchurch who are in the same dilemma. That is, staff working are unable to speak out publicly, are committed to border security and biosecurity, but they do not want to speak the truth for fear of losing their jobs. Mr Chairman.
Dr Cam Calder.
Thank you, Mr Chairman. It's a pleasure to rise and take a brief